Welcome to the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau Advisory Committee meeting being held on Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, starting at 10 a.m. I will now proceed to our first agenda item, which is the call to order, which we have done. And now I will proceed to our second agenda item, which is the roll call and establishment of quorum. And at this time, I would like to note that all committee members are attending the meeting remotely. And I will ask Angela to call roll and establish a quorum. Thank you, Angela.
Good morning. Please state your name, that you are present as I call your name. Bertha Sanchez Hayden,
Present.
Elizabeth Ichikawa,
Present.
Joyce Anthony,
Present.
James Moore.
Present.
Linda Ng is not attending this meeting. Alfred Torgano.
Present.
Thank you. With 5 members present and 1 absent, we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Angela. I will now proceed to item number 3 on our agenda. I would like to ask the advisory committee members and Bureau staff to introduce themselves. I am Bertha Sanchez Hayden, Chair of the Advisory Committee. I work in legal aid and at Batsonic Legal Services in Los Angeles, California. As I call your name, please introduce yourself. Vice Chair Elizabeth Ichikawa.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Ichikawa. I am the supervising court investigator in Solano County.
Joyce Anthony.
Hi, I'm Joyce Anthony, professional fiduciary located in Los Altos, California. I've been a professional fiduciary since 2005.
Thank you. James Moore.
Hi, I'm James Moore. I am a professional fiduciary located in Sacramento, California, and I've been a professional fiduciary since 2002.
Alfred Tarango.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alfred Torgano. I am a business owner and entrepreneur from Los Angeles, California. Happy to be here.
And I apologize. Remember, I mispronounced your last name.
It's okay.
Helen Joffrey.
Hello, I'm Helen Joffrey, and I am the legal counsel for Professional Fiduciaries Bureau.
Terry McLean.
Good morning. I'm Terry McLean. I'm the current program manager of the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau.
Angela Quadro.
I'm Angela Quadra, the program analyst for the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau.
Thank you. Sue Lowe.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sue Lowe, and I'm the enforcement analyst for the Bureau.
Thank you, everyone. We will now proceed to item agenda 4. Public comments on items not on the agenda. Please note the committee may not discuss or take action on this agenda item except to decide whether to place the matter on the agenda for a future meeting per Government Code Section 11125 and 11125.7a. California, please allow me to briefly address this agenda item. California law prohibits advisory committees from discussing or taking action on any matter not on the agenda. However, this item gives us an opportunity for the public to comment on items that are not listed on today's agenda. Please be aware that public comment during this agenda item should provide information to the advisory committee members and is not meant to be a discussion between the advisory committee and the public. Though it may seem at times like the advisory committee members or Bureau staff are not being responsive, following these guidelines is critical to ensuring the rules of the Opens Meeting Act are followed. Before the advisory committee asks for public comment, I respectfully ask individuals making comments not to discuss any pending complaints, pending licensing applications, or pending disciplinary actions that may come before the Bureau's legal counsel. Such discussions are considered ex parte communications by potentially providing information to the Bureau's legal counsel outside of the administrative record in a case. The advisory committee requests that you also respect the privacy of others by not revealing the names, other personal information, and conditions of the individuals involved in any case or complaint. The advisory committee can receive comments regarding the Bureau's process in general. However, it could not receive comments on specific cases. If you want the advisory committee to discuss a topic not on today's agenda, you may request that that item be considered for a future meeting agenda during the public comment on agenda item 11. However, please be aware that an agenda item recommendation does not obligate the Bureau to fulfill the request. If your comment is related to an item on today's agenda, please wait until we get to that agenda item. Comments at this time are only for items not on the agenda. To allow the advisory committee sufficient time to conduct its full schedule of business, each public comment is limited to 2 minutes. Please do not duplicate or repeat the comments of a previous speaker. I will now turn to public comment. Since we are having a hybrid meeting, I will start public comment on each agenda item, including this one, with individuals attending the meeting in Sacramento, followed by individuals attending the meeting via WebEx. I would now like to invite members of the public attending the meeting at the Sacramento location to provide comments on agenda item 4, items not on the agenda. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make comment?
Madam Chair, there are no members of the public attending currently, so I would turn the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx.
All right, we are open for public comment via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand. And for our mobile device users, you have 3 different screens and only one of them has a hand button. So you may need to hit the ellipses button, that's the ... in order to find your hand. And it looks like our first request comes from James Facer. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
We can go ahead and move on to the next commenter.
That was our only request for public comment online.
Thank you, moderator. We will now proceed to item number 5 on the agenda.
Good morning. This is Terry McLean. I'm going to read the mission statement. Our mission is to protect consumers through licensing, consumer education, and enforcement of the Professional Fiduciaries Act, and promote and uphold competency and ethical standards across the profession. Madam Chair, I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Terry. Are there any comments or discussion from advisory committee members? As there are no comments, I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments on this agenda item. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
Madam Chair, there are currently no members of the public attending in Sacramento today, so I'll return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx. Moderator?
We are open for public comment on agenda item 5. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator. We will now proceed to item number 6 on the agenda today. The discussion and approval of the advisory committee meeting minutes from December 11th, 2024. Are there any suggested edits to the December 11th, 2024 meeting minutes by committee members? As there are no suggested edits, I would now like to ask, is there a motion to approve the December 11th, 2024 minutes and to allow Bureau staff to make non-substantive edits if needed?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second the
Sec-
motion.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions, or comments from advisory committee members? I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make comments?
Madam Chair, there are currently no members of the public in attendance here in Sacramento. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx.
We are open for public comment on agenda item 6 and the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no requests, do you wish to continue with the motion?
Yes, thank you. Angela, can you please repeat the motion and call the roll?
Yes, good morning again. The committee will be voting to approve the meeting minutes as written and allow the Bureau to make substantive edits if needed. As I call your name, please respond, and a yes vote will be to approve this motion. Bertha Sanchez Hayden,
Yes.
Elizabeth Ichikawa,
Yes.
Joyce Anthony,
Yes.
James Moore,
Yes.
Alfred Torgano.
Yes.
The motion carries with 5 votes, and the minutes will be posted to the Bureau's website as written, and with allowing the Bureau to make non-substantive edits if needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. We will now proceed to item number 7 on our agenda. I would like to invite DCA staff to present an update from the Department of Consumer Affairs.
Good morning. I am Leslie Barmby of the California Department of Consumer Affairs. Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today. On January 29, 2025, Governor Newsom released Executive Order N15-25, providing quick recovery relief for local businesses by deferring renewal fees and waiving other fees for DCA licensees in the Los Angeles wildfire areas. Specific DCA provisions include DCA licensees whose license expire between January 1st and July 1st, 2025. They will be granted a 1-year extension to pay their renewal fees if their business or residence address is in certain zip codes impacted by the fires. Licensees will need to renew their licenses, but their fees will be postponed for 1 year. In addition, duplicate or replacement licenses or wall certificates will be provided free of charge until January 7th, 2026. And delinquency fees are suspended until July 1st, 2025 for those in the impacted areas. DCA met with the board and bureau leadership on January 29th to discuss the executive order and its implementation. DCA provided messages to the board and bureaus for dissemination to the impacted licensees, as well as consistent messaging for use on all bureau and board websites. Board and bureaus have shared the executive order and fee deferral opportunity with the stakeholders. We sincerely appreciate the quick and personal outreach to the boards and bureaus to impacted licensees by the boards and bureaus, sorry. Each DCA board and bureau website was updated with information for individuals impacted by the fires. DCA's Office of Information Services, DCA's IT team, also developed landing pages for all online databases So those going through the renewal process will receive information regarding the fee deferral when they go to renew their license online. DCA has also dedicated Disaster Help Center webpage accessible at www.dca.ca.gov. That includes information on the executive order, FAQs, and other important resources that may be of help to licensees and survivors as they navigate the rebuilding process. Additionally, DCA has a toll-free number, 1-800-799-8314, and email cafires@dca.ca.gov, available for fire survivors needing assistance. We are grateful to the governor for this opportunity to assist our licensees in their time of unprecedented need. A special thank you to DCA Board and Bureau leadership for their continued partnership and commitment to help survivors. Next, Governor Newsom released his proposed 2025-26 state budget on January 10th. Additionally, DCA vacancies reduction and government efficiency plans were approved by the Department of Finance and may be made official in the spring revisions. The governor remains committed to funding resources to address California's housing and homelessness crisis. In the governor's proposed budget is the creation of a dedicated California Housing and Homeless Agency. The Department of Consumer Affairs and other regulators currently under the Business and Consumer Services and Housing Agency would form a Consumer Protection Agency. This is an extraordinary opportunity for DCA to better align with other consumer protection entities as one consumer protection agency. With a Consumer Protection Agency secretary within the governor's cabinet, this is an exciting opportunity that will only strengthen our mission, momentum, and delivery of services to California. The governor's reorganization proposal will be reviewed by the nonpartisan Little Hoover Commission and the legislature this spring. As more information is available, DCA will continue to keep board and bureau leadership updated. Finally, I wanted to provide an update regarding DCA's Board and Bureau Relations team. Yvonne Durantes served as the Assistant Deputy Director of Board and Bureau Relations since October 2022. On December 6th, the governor appointed Yvonne as the Assistant Deputy Director of Legislative and Government Affairs at the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. Yvonne's last day at DCA was December 31st. Melissa Geer was also appointed to the governor by the governor as Deputy Director of the Legislative and Government Affairs at the Department of Healthcare Access and Information on February 14th. She's been with DCA since September 2022. Her last day with DCA was February 28th. We appreciate their dedication to the department and wish them well in their new roles. Ongoing, should you have any questions or need assistance, please continue to contact DCA at membersrelations@dca.ca.gov. On behalf of the director, I would like to thank the Bureau and staff for their continued hard work, and thank you for your dedicated service on behalf of California consumers. I appreciate your time this morning and welcome any questions.
Thank you so much for that update and for all the work that's being done by your office to support wildfire victims. At this time, I would like to ask if there's any comments from advisory committee members. As there are no comments from advisory committee members, I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to provide comment?
Madam Chair, currently there are no members of the public present here in Sacramento. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx.
We are open for public comment on agenda item 7. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand. And for our newly added mobile device users, you may need to hit the ellipses button, that's the ... in order to find your hand. We're going to take a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you so much, moderator. At this time, we will now proceed to item number 8 on our agenda. I would like to invite Brendan Vu from the Department of Consumer Affairs Budget Office to present an update on the Bureau's budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. My name is Brennan Vu, and I am a budget analyst with the DCA Budget Office. I'm here alongside Nicole Dragoo, the budget manager. I want to thank the advisory committee and the Bureau for allowing me to present on agenda item 8, the Bureau's expenditure projections and fund condition statement. First, I'm going to start with the Bureau's expenditures, page 18 of your materials. These projections are based on actual data through fiscal month 6. This report includes 2023 to 24 actual expenditures in the green, as well as 2024-25 budgeted and projected expenditures in blue and orange. As we move to the end of the document, you will see the Bureau had a beginning base budget of a little over $1.1 million and is projected to spend a total of approximately $689,000, creating a reversion to the Bureau's fund of approximately $427,000, with the reversion percentage of 38.23%. The next document I will be going over is the Bureau's revenue projections, page 19 of your materials. This report includes receipts collected through September and provides the projected revenue to year end. I will go further into projections as we transition to the next slide. The next slide, page 20 of your materials, is the Bureau's fund condition statement. As a reminder, we read this document top to bottom, left to right. The left column is the Bureau's prior year 2023-24 actuals. It shows the Bureau began 2023-24 with a balance of $256,000, and the Bureau collected $842,000 in revenues, with $141,000 from initial license fees, $664,000 from license renewals, and $37,000 collected from the issuance of citations, fines, delinquent fees, and other revenue. The Bureau expended $797,000, which included $46,000 in direct draws to the fund for statewide prorata and pension payments. The Bureau closed 2023-24 with a reserve balance of $301,000, or 4.8 months in reserve. For current year 2024-25, the Bureau projects revenues of just over $1.1 million, with $135,000 projected from initial license fees, $979,000 from renewal fees, and $36,000 from the issuance of citations, fines, delinquent fees, and other revenue. The Bureau's 2024-25 expenditures are currently based on the 2025-26 governor's budget, with FM6 projections at $758,000 between authorized expenditures and direct draws to the fund, leaving the Bureau with a fund balance of just over $711,000, or 7.0 months in reserve. The Budget Office will continue to monitor the Bureau's revenue and expenditures and report back to the Bureau with monthly expenditure projections as we continue to close fiscal months in the current fiscal year. A few things to note for the Bureau's fund condition. The fund condition is a snapshot in time. One of the main factors driving expenditure increases in future years is a result of personal service adjustments. These include general salary increases, as well as employee compensation and retirement rate adjustments. The Budget Office includes a conservative ongoing 3% increase to expenditures on the fund condition statement to account for these incremental adjustments. Lastly, I would like to note to the Bureau that any future legislation or unanticipated events could result in the Bureau's need for additional resources, which could create cost pressure on the fund. The Budget Office will continue to monitor the Bureau's fund condition statement and keep an open line of communication with the program manager for any future needs or expectations. This concludes my presentation. Again, thank you all for allowing me to present at today's meeting, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from advisory committee members? As there are no questions, I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to provide comment?
Madam Chair, there are currently no members of the public present here in Sacramento. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from individuals attending this meeting via WebEx.
We are now open for public comment via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you. We will now proceed to item number 9 on the agenda, the update from the Legislative Office. I would like to invite Susan Kilcrease from the Department of Consumer Affairs Legislative Affairs Office to present on Assembly Bill 586.
Thank you. Am I on? Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Kilcrease. I'm a legislative analyst at the DC Legislative Affairs Division. I'm here to give a short update on timelines and bills that impact the Bureau. A couple important dates to note. May 9th is the last day for policy committees to hear and report to the floor on non-fiscal bills introduced in the first house. And May 23rd is the last day for fiscal bills to be heard and reported on to the floor, introduced in the first house as well. For the 2025-26 legislative bills related to the Bureau, we do have AB 586, which is a FLORA bill, professional fiduciaries. It was introduced February 12th and has been referred to the Assembly Business and Professions Committee as well as the Assembly Judiciary Committee. The bill will redefine professional fiduciaries to include a professional fiduciary professional corporation and allowing the corporation to enter into the role of another human being in a time of need. This bill updates the probate code to include requirements professional fiduciaries must meet for Superior Court appointments. That is all I have for you today. We are available to answer any questions or comments related to the legislation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any comments from advisory committee members? I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
Madam Chair, currently there are no members of the public present here in Sacramento, so I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. Moderator, I will now ask, can you please call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx?
We are open for public comment via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Susan, for that update. And I might just add that if possible for the next meeting, if we can also track AB 1105 that talks about the proposed legislation regarding expanding placement of conservatees. It might be helpful for the Bureau Advisory Committee members to be updated if that proceeds.
You got it. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now proceed to item number 10. Terry, can you please present the Bureau updates?
Good morning, everyone. I will start with the Bureau's application, licensing, and enforcement statistics. Before I read the statistics, I would want to point out that we did note under the number of licenses by status on the materials. We have a date of September 2024, and the date should be December 31st, 2024. We will make that non-substantive change in our meeting minutes. I also would like to mention that the Bureau runs this statistical report at the end of each quarter, and it's a snapshot in time. So the number of active licenses may go up or down depending on multiple factors such as late renewal payments, late annual statements, and licensees requesting to be placed in inactive or retired status. But we have noted our applications have increased over the first couple of months in 2025, so we anticipate seeing an increase in active licenses for the third quarter, which will be discussed during the June 2025 meeting. So the total licenses issued since July 1st of 2008 are 1,485. The number of licenses by status as of December 31st, 2024, we have 849 active licenses, 12 inactive, and 26 retired. The initial applications received fiscal year 24 through 25 are 59 to date. Initial licenses issued for fiscal year 24 to 25 are 50 to date. Processing time to complete applications for the first quarter, July through September of 2024, 23 days from receipt to approval to sit for an exam, 6 days from passing exam to issuance of a license. For the second quarter, October through December 2024, 24 days from receipt to approval to sit for an exam, 8 days from passing exam to issuance of a license. For renewals, for the first quarter, renewals processed July through September 2024, we had 232. For the second quarter, October through December 2024, we had 198, totaling 430 renewals. Processing time for renewals. For the first quarter, July through September 2024, 23 days. For the second quarter, October through December 2024, 20 days. For an enforcement statistics, complaints received to date, 85. Complaints closed, or complaints that were open in fiscal year 20 through 21, we closed 1 complaint. For complaints open fiscal year 21 through 22, 0 complaints. For complaints open fiscal year 22 to 23, 4 complaints. For complaints open fiscal year 23 to 25, 23 to 24, 25 complaints. And for complaints open in fiscal year 24 to 25, 22 complaints have been closed. That totals 52 complaints 52 complaints closed. The average days to close a complaint, 166. Complaints pending. We currently have 1 complaint that was open in fiscal year 21 through 22, that's pending. We currently have 19 complaints that were open in fiscal year 22 to 23. We currently have 49 complaints that were open fiscal year 23 to 24. And we currently have 64 complaints that were open fiscal year 24 through 25, totaling 133 complaints pending. We issued 4 citations, and we have 1 case that's with the Attorney General's office that has been initiated. Moving on to the Los Angeles fire response. As the Bureau mentioned on January 29, 2025, Executive Order N-15 through 25 was issued by the governor. The Professional Fiduciaries Bureau would like to share information on how we, in partnership with the department, are supporting California wildfire response and recovery efforts for our licensees. We reached out to each licensee who was identified as having an address in the record, an address of record within the zip codes that were identified as having been impacted by the fires. We discussed deferral of renewal fee options with the licensees and made sure they were aware that that option was available. We have also posted wildfire relief information and deferral of renewal fee information on our website to assist licensees impacted. Moving on to outreach events, the Professional Fiduciaries Association, called PFAC, is holding its 30th anniversary conference at Disneyland in May of 2025, and they extended an invitation to the Bureau to have a complimentary exhibit table at their conference. Unfortunately, we're unable to attend, but we are providing them with over 200 flyers to distribute to their licensees that gives an overview of the Bureau and provide resource information for licensees specific to the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau. We have exciting news. Our e-newsletter has now been released. It's our winter 2025 newsletter. It's now available on our website for all partners, stakeholders, licensees, and consumers. We're excited to announce that we featured advisory committee member Linda Ng in our newsletter. So we hope you all have an opportunity to review our website and take a look at the newsletter. We would like to remind everyone that the Bureau has a Facebook and Twitter page, so we ask that you please follow us. And if you would like to receive notifications from the Bureau about upcoming events, new regulations, and advisory committee meeting minutes, I apologize, please sign up to receive email notifications by visiting the Bureau's website and join our mailing list. I will now open it up to any questions from the advisory committee members.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So when I first joined the advisory committee, there had been talk at several of the meetings about how to expand the profession. And I went back and I was looking at some of the old meeting materials, and I noticed that the numbers of licensees has stayed pretty much the same for the last couple of years. And so I'm curious if that's still something that's part of the strategic plan, and if there have been ideas about how to accomplish that.
Well, the Bureau is still, because of the 1194 and the increase in fees, we are still working on outreach efforts to ensure that information is sent out so individuals are aware of not only the fee amounts, but just aware of the options available to apply. We have noticed an increase actually in renewals coming in this year or so to date. So we are hoping to see the numbers increase. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, but based on our statistics, we're noticing a slight increase in applications being received. There are criteria that licensees or applicants have to meet in order to obtain a license, pass exams, and so forth. And we don't publish that information in regards to individuals who might apply but may not pass an exam to obtain a license. But we are looking at any assistance that we can receive from the committee members if you have ideas on outreach or what we could do to possibly, reach the public in a different manner to, encourage people to apply.
I think that does help answer my question. Yes, thank you. But I think because it seems like the professional fiduciary is sort of a niche profession. I I'm curious how people hear about it in the first place. How do people learn that this is even a profession that they could pursue? And if there's outreach happening towards that goal?
Well, based on the Bureau being established by legislation, the department's website is one manner. The encouragement that we are making for individuals to sign up for our Twitter and Facebook page, because our publications Bureau does publish different information and send out information on those media platforms. For instance, we're currently advertising for the vacancy for, the committee member, and it's posted on our Facebook and Twitter pages and on our website. We are providing, information for licensees, and we encourage them maybe to share information with other individuals who might be interested in obtaining a license. But at this time, those are our only avenues for outreach. We're always open to suggestions that we can consider for outreach opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Are there any other comments or questions?
I just again want to commend the Bureau on its outreach, such hands-on to directly contact any professional fiduciaries that were victim of the wildfires. And I also noted that the website makes it very easy to identify that there's support available. So thank you to the staff of the Bureau for taking those extra steps to support any impacted fiduciaries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If there are no more questions from the committee members or any comments, I'll pass the meeting back to you, Madam Chair, to open it up for public comment.
Thank you. I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda. Terry, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
Madam Chair, currently there are no members of the public present here in Sacramento, so I'll return the meeting back to you.
Thank you for confirming that. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments for any individuals attending the meeting via WebEx.
We are open for public comment via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue?
Yes, thank you. We will now proceed to item number 11. Terry, would you please begin the chair and vice chair elections?
Hello, everyone. Nominations are now open for the position of Chair of the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau Advisory Committee. Would anyone like to make a nomination for Chair?
Yes, I would. Joyce Anthony. I nominate Bertha Sanchez Hayden for the chair.
Based on that nomination, are there any discussion by the members?
I apologize, one moment. Member Hayden, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second the nomination.
Any discussion by members? Okay, are there any other nominations for chair other than Bertha Sanchez Hayden? Any public comment?
Seeing none in person, moderator, could we check online, please?
Absolutely. We are open for public comment on agenda item 11 and the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand. And for our mobile device users, you may need to hit the ellipses button, that's the ... in order to find your hand. We're going to take a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request, you wish to continue with the motion?
Chair or Program Manager? Would you like to call for
Angela,
the vote?
please conduct a vote for roll call.
Hi, we are voting on the motion to elect Bertha Sanchez Hayden as Chair of the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau Advisory Committee for 2025. As I call your name, a yes vote is to vote for Bertha to be the chair for 2025. Bertha Sanchez Hayden,
Yes.
Elizabeth Ichikawa,
Yes.
Joyce Anthony,
Yes.
James Moore,
Yes.
Alfred Torgano,
Yes.
Motion carried by a majority of the vote. The new chair for 2025 is Bertha Sanchez Hayden. We will now move for nominations because they are now open for the vice chair of the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau Advisory Committee members. Would anyone like to make a nomination for vice chair?
I'd like to
Yes.
nominate oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, member.
I'd like to nominate Elizabeth Ishikawa for vice chair.
Member Ichikawa, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Is there a second?
I would like to second the nomination.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair at this time? Okay, hearing no other nominations at this time for vice chair, I will ask for public comment at this time. Seeing no public comments in person, please, we would like to turn this over to the moderator for comment online.
We are open for public comment on nominations for the vice chair and the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take a few seconds to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request, do you wish to continue with the motion?
Yes, at this time, Angela, please conduct a vote for roll call for the vice chair position.
Hi, so voting on the motion to elect Elizabeth Ichikawa as vice chair for the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau Advisory Committee for 2025. Bertha Sanchez Hayden,
Yes.
Elizabeth Ichikawa,
Yes.
Joyce Anthony,
Yes.
James Moore,
Yes.
and Alfred Torgano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hearing none opposed, the motion carried by a majority vote. The new vice chair for 2025 is Elizabeth Ichikawa. Madam Chair, I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Terry. And thank you to the members for the ability to serve the committee again in the year going forward, and to have member Elizabeth Ichikawa serve as vice chair and her dedication to the committee as well. We will now proceed to item agenda number 12. Angela, what items have you recorded from our meeting today for consideration for inclusion on a future agenda?
Hello again. I have noted the following item for possible inclusion on a future agenda. To include AB 1105, which is a bill on expanding placement of conservatees. And that is all that I've noted during the meeting.
Thank you. Are there any other items from advisory committee members would like to add? I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Terry, are there members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
Madam Chair, currently there are no members of the public present here in Sacramento. I return the meeting back over to you.
Moderator, can you please call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx?
We are open for public comment for future agenda items. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you, Angela. We will now proceed to item number 13 on our agenda. The next advisory committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 11th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Additionally, the Bureau has scheduled meetings on the following dates for the calendar year 2025, and all the meetings will be held at an in-person location by teleconference via WebEx events on webcast on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, and Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Are there any questions from advisory committee members? As there are no questions, I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Terry, are there members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
Madam Chair, currently there are no members of the public present here in Sacramento. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending the meeting via WebEx.
We are now open for public comment on future meetings. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take a few seconds to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yep. Thank you. This brings us to item number 14 on our agenda, which is adjournment. I would like to thank the moderator for all of your support for the meeting today. This meeting is adjourned at 10:53. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to meeting you again on June 11th, 2025.
Thank you, members.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.